Welcome, everybody, to the crossover. Today is Friday, October 3rd, and we are back and got a nice menu of questions today. I've got some mail days. Do you have any mail days, Josh?
I have 5 mail days.
Whew. Okay, you have 5. I have 3. I have a smaller quantity, so I'll go first, and then you follow suit with your mail days after, and we'll make this real quick. The first of my mail days is this 1999-2000 Upper Deck Athlete of the Century, card number 47, Michael Jordan, Platinum 1 of 1, PSA 10. And then I have another card from that Athlete of the Century set. This one's card number 84, PSA 10. That's a 90 card set of Jordan, a commemorative 90 card set, and there's 90 different 1 of 1s in it. So that set makes up almost 20% of all NBA licensed Michael Jordan 1 of 1s. And then here finally we have the 1998-99 Upper Deck card number 174 from Series 1, Michael Jordan Gold 1 of 1, which is also a checklist, and it also happens to be the first checklist that is a Michael Jordan on the front and a 1 of 1. Those are my 3 mail days. What are yours, Josh?
Isn't it pretty insane to have a PSA 10 MJ 1 of 1 90s card?
Yeah. There's I don't know how many 90s exist, but I was looking at some gem rate data like a week or two ago, and I saw that there's maybe like 24 total PSA 10 MJ 1 of 1. So,
dang, that checklist one is cool. It's like pure Upper Deck nostalgia for me. Looking at that thing,
that's why I love it too.
Like they used to, do you remember that, like those bigger Upper Deck cards that you'd buy in that commemorative box?
Yes.
And it would always had like MJ and then like the silhouette MJ in the back. That's what it looks like.
Exactly. I know. That's exactly what I think about when I see it too.
I had one of those as a kid and I thought I was going to be rich, except everybody had that thing.
That was the small problem there. Numbered to like 50,000.
Right. And they had like the facsimile autos, the gold autos. All right. Let's start with this one. I cracked this one out. It was a BGS 9.5, but I don't have time for that. This card is raw now. 2015 Contenders Super Bowl ticket 1 of 1. I love these, dude.
Yeah, I love those too.
The paper shinies, I love them. I always buy those when they come up. I have like 3 girlies, and that's my first brown. This one is the one I was researching on crossover like 4 weeks ago. Like you asked me a question and I just like completely ignored you.
Yeah.
Because I was researching how many Megatron Black Finites there were. This is the 2019 Megatron Calvin Johnson Prism Black Finite. This is post playing days, and it's the only post playing days Black Finite. So I made an exception.
Amazing.
1 of 1. All right.
That feels like ages ago when you were researching that.
Yeah, because it's been sitting in my Ship My Cards account. All right. So is this 2022 Optic Gold Vinyl CD Lamb 1 of 1? So
crack it out. Crack it out.
No. I had the Jefferson of this same year as well. So pairing that with Jefferson is sick.
That's amazing.
And then the 2 that came to me yesterday from Jesse, Go WR Collector. He's had these for a really long time and I've always bothered him about it, and then he just hit me up and he's like, I'll sell them but only at these prices, and I said done, let's do it. First is 2016 Optic Gold Vinyl Julio Jones. So he's a big Julio Jones guy.
First year Optic Gold Vinyl.
Yep. So I now have Julio, Tyreek, Antonio Brown, and LaShawn McCoy from this set in the Optic Gold Vinyls. Very happy about it. He's being chased down by Navarro Bowman, another stud linebacker. All right, last one. 2013 Prism Black Finite Julio Jones BGS 10 with the gold sticker as well. So it's like a BGS Super 10.
The BGS 11, if you will.
Yes. I owned this card in the past. I don't know if you remember that. So the first time I did this whole football thing, it was the only 101 that I had owned. Stupidly sold it. Got it back for much more than I sold it for. It's fine. That's it.
Yeah, these have been. This has been a hell of a year of mail days.
Yeah. When was the last card that either of us got that was not a 101? That's a trivia question for anyone.
It's a
I
good
don't
trivia
even.
question. Somebody look.
There's-
I think it would have to be my '97 Stadium Club one of a kind Jordan, which was like maybe
Last year's national.
a year or two ago. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to some questions here. As long as we don't have any card letter announcements or anything, I don't believe we do. So, okay, first question here is from WTF Frankie podcast. This is going to be our softball, our warm up. He says, Mac Jones, is it the real deal or a flash in the pan? And I just want to use this card to jump off and talk about anything NFL related from the last 2 weeks since we didn't do a show last week. So if you want to talk about Mac Jones or anything NFL, please do.
I'm bummed out by all the injuries. The fact that we have to have all these backup quarterbacks have a good game, and then we have to talk about if they're better and all this is annoying in itself. That's my storyline.
Yep, the injuries just never stop, and it's an onslaught.
Yeah, he had a nice game. His QBR is decent.
Yep. I believe his QBR on the season now is 69, which is good, which is quite good.
342 yards, but it's on 49 attempts, so
yeah, his yards per attempt isn't. It's pretty average, but yeah, he's certainly stepping up as a backup. You know, if you need to bring in a backup, and then you also start thinking about like so Mac Jones. What was his draft class? Was he 2020?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and you look at Daniel Jones, who's 2019, and you look at Baker Mayfield, who's 2018, and there are guys who are breaking out now that they're entering their mid to late 20s. And I don't think that's terribly surprising, especially in a game and in a position where intellectual maturity is at a premium.
Yeah, I'm more surprised to see these teams, throw them out there year one and then they're not perfect, or they're, they fizzle out a little bit in year two and they just completely give up on him. Like the Sam Darnold one, he's been good. He's been good now on 2 straight teams.
Yes, he has. Sam Darnold's a great call out. And it, it's just, there's always this tendency to want to generalize from everything. So it's like, Lamar Jackson was an MVP immediately. So everybody needs to be an MVP immediately or we move on. Or
Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly. Or like there was the thing for a long time where it was like, well, Aaron Rodgers sat behind he took a few years to develop, so everybody has to take a few years to develop, and there's just really not a one size fits all. Different quarterbacks, different systems, different coaches.
Yeah, and I don't think Allen broke out right away. He took a few years. Like he was seen as like he was a running quarterback. If you remember, he was more of just like a scrambling, inaccurate passer his first couple of years. Now he like never turns it over and he's accurate.
Dude, I remember I think it was his first playoff game against the Texans and Deshaun Watson. And he just had a play where he just lateraled the ball like mid-play, big moment, playoff game, and just completely laterals it. It goes out of bounds. He was a wild man. And then there was the idea for a long time that Allen's success was attributable to Brian Daboll as the quarterback whisperer, right? And then he went on and took a head coach position as a consequence of that, and he stopped whispering.
Dude, listen to this rookie stats. This is Josh Allen's rookie year stats. 53% completion percentage, which is obviously really bad. 2,000 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, QBR of 50. Second year, QBR of 50. Third year is when he started to really take off. 4,500 yards passing, 37 touchdowns. And then his fourth year, he had a little bit of a dip, and then he's obviously been great since.
That's amazing. And
like Darnold and Mac Jones, they give up on these guys in year 3.
Yep. They sure do. And then, that's it's football, man. It's also football is such a team sport, and coaching matters, but or does it? Look at the Lions, right? They completely swapped out OCs and DCs, and they look like the same damn team.
Yeah, Bill just completely gave up talking about that because he was so wrong about it. He doesn't even know what to say anymore. Their offense is like more creative than before, and he doesn't know how to analyze that.
Yeah. Oh, Bill. Still predicting CMC to get injured 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
Keep going, Bill. All right. Next question from Big Al's Card Barn. Has this bull market peaked? So I shared this question on my Instagram story. I turned it into a poll. 103 votes were cast. Actually, 103 can't be right. Oh, no, sorry. Yes, it is right. 103 votes were cast. 51% of the votes went yes, and 49% of the votes went no. So the slightest majority says
Split.
this bull market has peaked. Yeah, what do you think about that? First of all, what's your answer to that?
It's impossible to know exactly when it peaked, so I would just err on the side of caution and say no, because in order for it to have peaked, then the prices would have to go down tomorrow, and they ain't going down right now. So
how close are we to a peak?
I don't know. The more sign, we just keep seeing more and more signs, but like the greater economy is still doing well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're. I wouldn't expect a sudden downturn tomorrow, although some downturns have started happening. So, like the 2009 Bowman Black Curry, the BGS9 sold for $100,000 a few weeks ago, and then one or two have sold in rapid succession since for half that. So,
Oof, yeah,
and $50,000 for that card is still a big price. But
right.
it ain't $100,000. So I think that the supply is going to start changing the dynamics really quick here. Like I keep an eye on how many Michael Jordan cards are coming to different auctions. I've looked at Fanatics before. I looked at Golden more recently. I went to Card Ladder, went to Sales History. I set the filter to more than $1,000. I put in my search term Michael Jordan, and then I just went month by month. And Jordan would have 100 in January. He'd have like 80 in the next month, maybe 130, maybe it dropped down to 50. And then all of a sudden in September, it ballooned to around 230. So the supply is coming. The supply is coming. And the cards all sold very strong, but the supply is coming. And the supply is going to correct things, I think. And also, I think that just the season that we're entering into, people have more distractions now. Football has started. NHL is starting soon. NBA is starting soon. MLB playoffs are in swing here. Then you have the holiday stuff coming up, and people divert their attention and their leisure time to buying gifts for people and stuff. I just think we're primed for a bit of a cooling off period, but I wouldn't necessarily extend that all the way into next year. This reminds me very much of 2020. Where in 2020, there was a really strong market in August, September, October. It retreated going into November, December, January, and then around the turn of the new year, January, February, March, we hit at that time the highest prices we'd ever seen.
Dude, Pokemon is up 10% in the last month still. That's after all the craziness of Pokemon. Still in the last month, it's up 10%.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's over six months. It's up 57%. The whole category. We tracked 9,000 cards.
Yeah, and counting. We have a great research team. Yeah, we have a great research team working on TCG and Pokemon. Okay, so let me ask you this too. Now that we've each kind of given our take on whether or not there's a peak or when it might be coming, but what about this? What about the fact that the poll produced a split? What do you think about the fact that the sentiment is evenly divided?
That tells me that the people that follow you are equally as annoyed at it going up so much, and everybody self-congratulating that they're like wish casting it to go down.
Yeah.
That's how I read that. That's like the ask what does your neighbor think about the economy? That's how that one feels like.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just find the split to be so interesting because you can almost learn nothing from the split. It's like if everybody was like, if this poll was like 90%, no, it hasn't peaked yet, then I'm like, okay, people are exuberant, they're overly optimistic. And if it was the other way, then I'd say, okay, people are being cautious, so maybe this is more sustainable. But it's just a perfect split. Like I don't know what to make of it.
I just feel like so many cool cards have come out over the last 3 or 4 months that we've seen this boom that I'm not too sad if it keeps going. And if it does end, prices go down, I won't be sad about that. We'll just find a way to make it positive.
Yeah. I saw Joe in the chat. Joe likes to quote Dr. Beckett, and I'm going to quote him too for this specific topic, which is Dr. Beckett will sometimes say, it's great that these cards are coming to market, but I want the cards that aren't for sale. So great,
Yeah.
look, these are the cards for sale. This is great, but don't show me these. Don't show me the ones that the dealers have put out. Don't show me the ones that have been sent to auction. Show me the ones that they're not putting out. Show me the cards that don't get sent to auction, even in a bull market. Show me the ones that are being held back. But that is what's nice about a bull market, is that it brings out a lot of stuff that otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah.
But still, we want to, like, I'll think about you and your collection. I mean, a lot of stuff ain't coming out. That's the stuff, those are the ones that
I feel like it's part of my responsibility now to keep all this football stuff and just not sell it for the next whatever years and just watch everybody wonder what happened to all those one-on-one football cards. They're gone.
That's great. All right.
Okay.
Now we're going to move in, and unless you want to say anything else about bull market or NFL, now we're going to move into some tops stuff, NBA.
Okay, yeah, let's look at pictures too.
So this question is going to get us started. MXP Fernandez says, please discuss how your perspective of the basketball card hobby may have changed now that Topps is the license holder for NBA cards. Has anything changed for you now that the transfers happened?
So the transfer is official.
Yeah, but it went over without much fanfare. It's actually been quiet.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Like, I don't even know the date. Wasn't it today?
It was 2 days ago. October 1st was the official day.
Why do you think there was no fanfare about it?
Litigation. I think part of it is the ongoing litigation involving antitrust. That I think everybody's just trying to play it cool until that gets solved.
Yeah. So your initial question was like, how do I feel about the Topps basketball? Just like the reality of it.
Yeah, and has it changed your approach in any way?
Well, it's only basketball for now, so I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'm having to like reacquaint myself with Topps. Like I'm familiar with Topps Chrome and Finest and their product lines, but I've heard a lot is different with baseball since then. More parallels, Sapphire, like all these different things. So it's going to be some time to get used to it. Like you and I were chatting with people who thought that this first Topps release was Topps Chrome, and they're like, these don't look like Chrome, and it's like, so we really have to know this is more like hoops. This is like Topps paper. It's different. So there's a lot that all of us have to learn.
Yeah, so they're ramping up. They're coming with their paper issue. I believe I saw that hobby boxes are going to be $110 or something like that.
Let's go.
Yeah, not bad. But I also believe I saw somebody ran the calculations that there's like millions and millions of these boxes. So
let's not go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a slower transition, but yeah, man, Panini is done with NBA licensed cards, and that's over. I think there will be much more fanfare and fireworks when the NFL license transfers. I think that's what Fanatics is waiting for.
You got the last Jokic Black Prism?
I guess I do.
So I'm excited about stuff like that, where you can start putting final touches to some of your collections and stuff like that. You finish runs or whatever, and you get the final one.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a terrible thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, let's keep going here. So Mad City Collector asks, do you think Topps reclaiming the licenses will increase interest in pre-Panini Topps cards? I think it absolutely will. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, can you let me screen share? I kind of want to just show.
Yeah, please.
Yes, I totally agree. I want to show the some of the designs and stuff. I've got it over here.
Are you ready to come up on stage with your screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Cooper Flag is the cover of the box as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I like that they made content around who the cover artist is as well. That's an extra content cycle, just discussing who the cover artist is on each box.
So here's some examples. They have some base cards, some auto. Looks like the autos are on card. Looks like there's some patch cards. Here's the artwork for the box itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, You can like be negative about this, right? Like, oh, Panini was better, but I tend to like, let's see what happens, right? Let's see how the first year goes. Let's see what happens when football comes out, and then we can start making more opinions. I mean, if they make a super fractor, are we really going to complain?
No. And like, so to the question of like, do you think Topps is these new Topps are going to increase interest in the old Topps? Yes. And the mechanism is this: there's going to be promotion surrounding Topps, and people passively consume hobby content. So like, they haven't thought about Topps and basketball cards in 15 years. And now there's going to be this breakers making content around it. There's going to be Fanatics' accounts making content around it, Topps, influencers. People are going to be talking Topps. And a natural consequence of that is people are going to be sitting there scrolling their Instagram. They see a bunch of stuff about Topps, and they're like, oh, look, I just had a bright idea. I'm going to go back and look at old Topps issues. That's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
All right, next question here, and then we get to a really juicy one after this. Cajun Cardboard asks, how many licensed Topps Chrome hobby boxes is Christina going to buy? Come on up. I'm like Bob Barker. Come on down.
Hi. How many boxes?
Of Topps Chrome.
I think it depends. I think it depends how many. Well, it depends on one thing, and then it also depends on when I go to the LCS.
Right. Well, look, I know
how many boxes there will be.
Brian is going to be ripping Topps Chrome boxes. He's excited. He wants somebody to share in his enthusiasm right now.
Well, I'm excited. Potentially. I mean, I saw Sue's tweet, so I'm kind of waiting, and we'll see where that goes.
All right. Well, let's just get to that topic.
Do we know when Topps Chrome is coming out?
No, I do not.
This comes out October 23rd, though. Topps.
The regular old Topps. Okay.
That's crazy. I might buy one of these, dude. F it.
Yeah, right. Does it have the price on there? It's like $107 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where would one see that?
110 before.
110, something like that. Yeah.
If you control F MMR, what is it? MMRP?
MSRP.
Control F.
MSRP. Yeah, control F.
I don't see anything on here.
Let me just see here.
Topps.
Oh boy. Okay, we have a story from CLLCT. Prices for sealed boxes of 2025-26 Topps basketball more than doubled on the secondary market within hours of the pre-order release Friday afternoon. Topps' first licensed flagship NBA products in 2009, hobby boxes and jumbo boxes originally retailed for $110 and $230 each, and they quickly sold out directly from the manufacturer. Confirmed pre-orders were immediately listed for sale on the secondary market, with hobby boxes going up to $225 and jumbo boxes reaching $450.
So if we buy them from Dave and Adams, for example, it would be $220
or $450 for the jumbo, which is you would probably go for the jumbo. That's the thing with Topps, like you always go for the jumbo.
Why? What does that mean?
It's like the better. I believe it's the better product.
The more expensive one for sure.
It's like the hobby versus like fast break, but not like a secondary like set list.
$400.
Right. Well, here's the next topic. Next from Sweat 47, where are the Luka cards at Topps, at Fanatics? Packs That Slap also asks, no Luka cards in Topps. And then Christina referred to a tweet from Suze, which also pointed out that there are no Luka cards on the 25-26 Topps NBA checklist. And then it was also pointed out to me by somebody else earlier today that Luka has never appeared, even in the unlicensed Fanatics releases. He has never appeared.
Okay. This is where like
Luka is also not in any of the marketing materials.
Yeah. So he had recently, within the last like 3 years, while we were in Dallas, signed an exclusive with Panini.
But that exclusive deal, per Panini's blog from 2021, said that the deal pertains to autographed cards and memorabilia.
Right, but it also makes sense why he wouldn't be in the unlicensed stuff. Because, like, if he's not going to sign for them, then what's the point of just having a base card in his pajamas?
Because people collect those too.
But why isn't he in this? I don't understand at all.
Yeah, that's
nobody knows why he's not in this. But first of all, like, let me just it's the autograph thing can't be it. It's because Ben
Right.
Simmons cards were still made by Panini, and he didn't have an autograph deal with Panini. And there's many other examples where LeBron James doesn't have an autograph deal with Panini. They still made his cards. So it's not about the autograph, because there's still value to be had by putting Luka Superfractor 1/1s or whatever in these products.
Right. A lot of value. I don't understand it at all. This is crazy. Like
Yeah.
this would have to be like either something from Luka's camp or some other like politics happening behind the scenes, right? There's no other explanation.
Yeah, and it's still very early, and people have pointed out that there will be a Series 2 of Topps, and maybe they didn't have Lakers photos of him or something.
Is this something with like the NBPA or something like that?
Well, so in the past, the way that like a Ben Simmons Panini or a LeBron Panini card got made was because the deal was with the NBA and the NBA PA. So they were able to use current rosters of players active for the season in their products. And then they had to go out and do deals for like the Larry Birds or the Magics or whatever. And those are like individual camps. But like the PA is supposedly covering all of the active roster people. Now, if you're saying that it's because he wasn't in a Lakers jersey, that to me is also suspicious, because
I don't buy it. They're not going to take money and a value proposition out of their product just because he's in the wrong jersey. The Panini still continue to make Maverick stuff.
Plus Panini,
after
like
the trade.
Panini told me years ago that like they finally got a permission from the leagues to Photoshop. So when a player does get traded and they don't have that jersey, they're allowed to, with approval from the PA, Photoshop them in the correct jersey.
Right.
So like that doesn't check. Sorry. What's going on here?
Yeah.
GPT is speculating it could be because Topps is purposely staggering players to garner interest in Series 2, like you guys kind of mentioned. There's discussion around like image rights, photo licensing. Like it may be some photo licensing issue with the NBPA, something like that. But the issue with the staggering concept is like every other superstar is in this release. Like I would expect at least like maybe they omit Tatum plus Luka, or just at least one other guy.
Good point. It's still early, but there hasn't been a plausible explanation given yet. I don't think, in terms of like in terms of it, this could be deliberate or strategic on Topps or Fanatics' behalf. I don't buy that.
Yeah, I'd put him in every set.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and like he is not in any of the marketing materials. Like you were on the Topps page, you can scroll until your heart is content. You will not see an image or mention of him.
Dude, I'm on the full checklist and I search his name and it comes up 0 times.
They have Dorian Finney-Smith. These are the Lakers players that they have. Number 149 to 155. Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Bronny James, Dalton Connect, Rui Hachimura, and Jared Vanderbilt. Like, I'm sorry. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's clearly something else. It's something else.
You know who also is missing? Joe pointed it out in the chat. Like, are they stupid? Like, Topps, you know how much money I would spend on this product if you put in a Kleba Rainbow. Like, get out of here.
That's the real.
That would have been an easy win.
Maxi's going to be the cover for Series 2.
For Series 2, Fullerton, be my hero. He's on.
So there's a wide range of outcomes here. Maybe one outcome is just that there are some extenuating circumstances that maybe something from that Panini agreement is blocking his ability to appear somehow, or maybe Fanatics wants him to cancel that Panini agreement outright, and so they're still trying to work to get something solved there. Those are possibilities. Another possibility is that for contractual reasons, maybe he's not going to have NBA licensed Fanatics cards. That would be unprecedented. Some similar situations have been like Michael Jordan had an exclusive with Upper Deck, similar to how Luka has an exclusive with Panini. But during his active seasons, the NBPA agreements permitted all manufacturers to make Jordan's cards. not just Upper Deck. Only once he entered into retirement did his agreement with Upper Deck control. So who knows what the fine print of these contracts are, but there is a possibility. I don't know how likely it is, but there's a possibility that Luka's NBA licensed era might be over. I'm not saying it is.
That would be a disaster because it also corresponds with his first full season with the Lakers, which is like a huge deal.
Yep.
Marketing wise and
yep.
Everything. It just doesn't. This could be a disaster, dude.
The only thing
you probably get some like Panini unlicensed
garbage
Luka only sets, yeah.
The Trevor Lawrence set that came out that year, like a few years ago.
Or they did him for Clark. I mean, yeah, yes.
The only thing I could think of is if he is Series 2, like he's the get in Series 2, but like it just like it boggles my mind that like you wouldn't include him in the Series 1 checklist for like the base cards.
Well, we've got time. They're going to have a full roster of products to come out for the 2025-26 season, so we'll see how that unfolds. But this is a big developing hobby story, in my opinion. That whether or not Luka will appear in NBA licensed products going forward.
Isn't he like the MVP favorite? It's a huge storyline.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal. And it has implications for his market too, I think.
And you can fit more of his picture on the cards now. He lost like 30 pounds.
You know what's so funny? Last year he came in and his official listed weight was 230. This year 246.
Muscle weighs more.
Muscle weighs more.
The right take is that he's actually fatter now. Go on.
I was just gonna say, can we talk about like the parallels that are listed for the base set? It's
if you
blackout,
want to, quickly, briefly.
Clear, first card out of 1.
I'd like to talk about that. I was schooled on this by Mark the other day, who is a baseball collector as well as basketball collector, and he was telling me that the way that the first works is that for the first sheet of the plain base card that is printed, the first of these base cards off of the press, all those cards from that first press get a first and get a 1/1 stamp.
Oh.
Okay. And then there's a player number, but Tatum and many people have the number 0. So what do they do for those people?
Invisible cards.
Okay, cool. And then golden mirror and team color border. Like we're not doing like reds and greens and blacks and golds. Like
I don't know. We'll see.
There's so many inserts.
Yeah.
So
Josh
many
just
inserts.
keeps scrolling.
How many
These are all
pages
inserts.
Dude,
these are all inserts. I'm still scrolling. There's 68 pages.
68-page checklist
with like 37 inserts.
All right, let's keep it going here. That's going to do it for our tops and our tops Chrome section. I'm going to bring back up the questions to the screen. Up next, we have a question from Xanu23 Sports Cards, who says, rank these 3 best 1/1s across the sports and explain why. And he gives you 3 options and he'd like you to rank them. Gem Masters 1/1, Black Finite 1/1, and Super Fractor 1/1.
This is your favorite topic, Chris. The best.
The best. The best is a meaningless word. What do you mean by the best? One way that I would approach these is which one came earliest. The Gem Master came first, the Super Fractor came second, and the Finite came third. But
I think he's saying rank your favorite.
My favorite, my personal preference. Even my personal preference is not so interesting because I don't have much experience with Super Fractors. I have a ton of experience with Black Finite, and I've lusted after a Gem Master for many years. So, what do you say? What's your opinion?
All that, and you didn't even give us your answer? Jeez.
To me, they're all tied. They're all 1/1s. They're all pretty close.
I guess I'll go Finite, Super, Gem Master. I just have no personal attachment to Gem Masters.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I could think about those cards all day, but you know, I was actually looking on Card Ladder when I was thinking about this question, and I was typing in each of the parallel type, and then I was sorting by highest price, and it's actually surprising. The highest Gem Master sale that we have, actually the highest sale of both type of card, whether it's Gem Master or it's Black Finite, is a private sale. And the Gem Master is the Jerry Rice, and the Black Finite is the Justin Herbert. And
Yep.
I was looking at the results, and I was like, man, there are not many public sales of the best Gem Masters or the best Black Finites.
That's good.
It is. It is. It's just those cards are so present, and yet they have very limited sales data. All right.
Caitlin Clark's on the first.
Yeah, Clark is one of the highest selling Finites. Her second appearing base set Finite. All right.
The highest superfractor is Lewis Hamilton, and then that PSA 10 LeBron.
Yes, but if you switch it to Superfractors, it becomes the Mike Trout autograph. The autograph card.
Stupid BGS.
Yeah. All right, let me go on to the next question from Mostly Soccer Cards. Please discuss the psychology of not selling cards that have gained significant value in the bull market. What do you think about the mindset of somebody who is not selling anything as prices are going up?
It's probably people that don't sell when it's going down too. Never sell.
Probably right. We have another bull market question here that I think kind of dovetails with that nicely from Drake's PC, who says, during a bull market, it can be easy to justify moving cards that can be acquired again later. What's more difficult, though, is the thought of moving one of ones, for example, that you might never see again. When it comes to one of ones or very rare cards, what factors do you consider when it comes to deciding whether to hang on or move on?
Maybe if you have like a bunch of one-on-ones of the same player and you feel all right about moving one of them, but I think selling one-on-ones right now is crazy.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially if it's a one-of-one that hasn't had its time in the sun yet. Then I think it's even crazier.
Like Panini one-of-ones right now, I think it's crazy to sell that because Panini is going to be like, I know there was a lot more one-of-ones before Panini, but I think Panini is going to be known as like the one-of-one era.
Oh, yeah. They perfected the one-of-one.
Exactly. You said it better. I think they perfected it. I think they went through a couple of years of figuring out what they wanted it to be, not having a one-of-one in 2012 basketball. They're sort of working through the kinks of figuring out where gold settles, and then the Black Finite in football, the pylon, they're trying to figure it out. And I think over the years they've perfected it, and they've got a nice array of different products that have one-of-ones that have been consistent across the different years. And now that the licenses are switching, we kind of have it solidified which ones in the past are going to be the ones that people are chasing after. And I think it's silly to sell on some of these one-on-ones right now. That's just that's what I'm doing.
It's a great little slice of collecting psychology there. Another question, somewhat related, from WWE Gelman. A bit of a Drake-sized question for tonight. I've been thinking about this for a while. As someone who identifies as a hardcore collector, I feel as though I exist in a semi-paradoxical state. On the one hand, I want to grow my collection, but on the other hand, I want to see the cards I have increase in value for the normal reasons: notoriety, return on investment, etc. And then third, I want to acquire new cards from my collection at the lowest possible price. This is where I think the mutual exclusivity of the three above desires can't all be true at the same time. If we want our collection to increase in value, we can't expect to have cards available to us at cheaper prices than before. Many people online respond to the situation with anger or resentment or a combination. Do you battle with this idea? And if so, how? As a whole, is the hobby getting better or worse in the battle that I've discussed?
I kind of want to hear what you have to say about this topic. It's similar to what started from Adam, Real 27 guy. We were kind of discussing the place in the hobby for gambling, investing, pure collecting, and then some flippers came out and stuck up for themselves, and then it kind of was going back and forth. Where did you? Because this question kind of reminds me of that. I kind of wanted to hear what you thought.
Yeah, it's a really big topic. the win-win-win scenario would sort of be all the cards that I currently have go way up in value. The ones that I don't have yet lag way behind. Then I get those ones that are lagging behind, and they go way up in value, and then happy. So that's kind of the dream scenario. Or what do you think about that scenario? That's if like that's what we hope, right? Is that we can win on both. We can have our cake and eat it too.
It's just impossible because you're buying similar stuff. That's not possible unless you just like completely pivot to another category or something.
Yeah, that's where we can tell ourselves the delusion that like I'm early on this stuff and the stuff I already have is doing great. And so there is a constant push and pull here, and whichever way it works out, it's half good, glass is half full and glass is half empty. Because like he said in the question, you get the benefit of seeing your current collection value go up, but it gets tougher to add more cards in a bull market. And then in a bear market, yeah, it sucks your collection value is going down, but you get to add more cards. So I guess the bigger your collection is, though, like the more pieces, the more cards you have, the bigger your collection is in a bull market. Like maybe the more enjoyable the bull market is just because you have more cards that are increasing in value. But I would say at my perspective on this over time is just that I don't ever want the thrill of adding cards to my collection to expire. And in bull markets, it gets tougher to add cards to my collection. So I like the rush and the enjoyment and the hunt and the pursuit of growing and developing my collection. And I like mail days and I like adding cards. So
yeah.
To me, if I had to pick one, I'd rather have a modest market where I can acquire more stuff than a raging market where I have to just sit there and watch. Agreed.
I was actually thinking today too. I enjoy purchasing active players in the off season better when like nobody's talking about them. I can make it purely about the card itself and not have any sort of discussion around the season they're currently having or how if they're injured or any of that kind of stuff. It's purely about like, this is the year of the card. This is the one I wanted and I got it.
Definitely. Okay. Up next from Vinny Slabarino. Always enjoy the show. Okay, so we all are familiar with this, but let me just paint the background to this question really quick. A few shows ago, a Christian McCaffrey card came up on eBay. We put it on the screen. Somebody bought it. The card was only $200, and it was a rookie year 1/1 from a Panini National Convention issue. So here's Vinny's question. Do you think the price of that 1/1 McCaffrey at $200 influenced you to not want it? Meaning, if it had a price history of selling for $2,000 or something like that, then maybe you'd have been more interested. I say that because it is well documented that no matter how hard consumers try, they do value things based on their price, myself included. Like, I can't judge the quality of something I'm not familiar with unless I see the price. So, for example, we were recently shopping for a new washer and dryer, and I had no idea how much those things cost, but I immediately ruled out the cheapest ones. Thanks, Vinny. What do you think about the collector psychology of higher priced cards being more desirable just because they're higher priced?
I think that's very thought-provoking. It's like, I don't want the cheapest phone. I want the iPhone. I want the $1,000 one because that means it's probably good, This is like the entire business model of, like clothing and jewelry is like the brand name and stuff. It's the same material, but you're paying 10 times as much for Gucci than you are for Old Navy.
And this is why comps matter so much too in our hobby.
Oh, does that? When I listened to your pod, did this come up at all in that one?
No.
This thought process?
No. This is something else. He a few people had mentioned something like this after, where it was like, well, what if that card had been priced at 2K OBO? Then would you have wanted it more?
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, and it speaks to something about how our hobby operates too, which is that storytellers can, influencers, content creators can give the best, summary of a card imaginable, but the influence that has is just a fraction of the influence that is achieved if the card sells in what is perceived to be a fair, open auction at a very high price, but not a price that is unbelievable. So, you kind of have to hit a sweet spot, but a believable price is the most influential thing possible in this hobby, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
But you know, so one thing I think about when evaluating comps also, because like we do have comps that are being set sometimes by pure collectors, you know, bidding for niche cards, and other times for very visible cards where you have speculators and dealers and investors and flippers and collectors all piling in, and sometimes people are just buying that card just for the hope that they'll sell it a month later for 10% more. And like evaluating comps, when I look at comps, especially in a bull market, I look at not just that comp in isolation. I look at the same card of different players who are similar, and I look at similar cards of the same player, and I try to triangulate the whole thing. So like a great example is like a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He recently had his Optic Gold Vinyl 1/1 sell for $50,000 at auction. And in that same auction, his totally certified 1/1 sold for under $5,000 in the same auction. So to me, I look at the price of the one and I triangulate it by looking at the price of the other. Now, I don't think that that the buyers are the same. I think people who are looking at the optical vinyl are a different group of buyers than the people who are looking at the certified black 1/1. But me as a collector, knowing and that what the offering of Gilgeous-Alexander's rookie year is, I will take the certified black 1/1 at $5K. I'll take that, and that helps me ground my understanding of comps when I see comparisons like that. So, just some thoughts there on like pricing and approaches to it. Next question from Mick Wildcat. And we've seen a number of people dealing with this lately. I recently sold a high-end item on eBay. I sent it to the authenticator, which is PSA, and then it sat there for 3 weeks and my funds were on hold. As participants in this hobby, should we be more accepting of infrastructure struggles when there are booms in the market, or should we raise the bar and demand more accountability from these corporations? What do you say?
I mean, how can we make them, other than, I guess he's saying like we stop buying cards on eBay? We don't really have a choice. This is where the cards are, and when they have to go to the authenticator, you can't opt out of it. So I don't know that we can really demand much of anything. We just sort of have to deal with it.
Yeah, and it's there's been I experienced a shipping delay with a different marketplace a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I had a
jammed
eBay
up.
purchase take, I think it was like almost a month.
Yeah,
to get shipped and then get to the authenticator, authenticate, and then to my location is about a month.
Now, this isn't designed to be, white knighting for corporate America here. So this isn't my whole take, but part of my take on this is that I do remember that previous peak when you literally couldn't grade a card with PSA for like 2 years.
It was a year for sure.
It was a long, long time. And many of us, myself included, had cards that were tied up in the Mark's Cards scandal. And
dude, people were sending like hundreds and hundreds of base cards though at that time.
Yeah. Yes.
Like they were, but that's what's happening with Pokemon, dude. People are sending them everything. They're grading every single card out of that Pokemon box.
Exactly, man. So like, I think what I'm trying to say is at the corporate level, not that this should be the bar and not that it's acceptable, but things are at a better time right now than they were a few years ago. That's where I wanted to start.
What do you think about Pokemon being in the same scenario that sports were in 2020, 2021? Like they're going through what we did 4 years ago today and they're just lagging behind us.
It could be. I'm so like not in that world.
Do you want me to show you the ladder ranking again? I can if you need to.
The market caps.
I've never heard anyone else talk about this, and I'll just bring it up every week until someone tells me to stop. Dude, that Pikachu is number 2 this week. It's number 2. It passed the PSA 10 MJ Fleer. The market cap of the freaking Pikachu Greyfell hat. That card was released 2 years ago. The market cap of that card is higher than the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan PSA 10. Did you hear me? Am I speaking loud enough?
That's amazing.
It's a $2,000 card, and the population is 43,000. Dude, that's insane, dude. That is like a bubble I've never seen before. This is like if the Luka base prism was like $4,000.
Yeah. Well, what are they telling themselves? Like, I remember at that time, one of the slogans for base PSA 10 was like, well, if you fill, if you imagine a football stadium with 60,000 people and each one of them wants a PSA 10 of the player.
Is that what they're saying? Dude,
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. What's the Pokemon justification? That's what I'm curious about.
All the gamers that are on their Game Boys and their Xboxes, if they're all playing at the same time.
We're the second inning of the pop 40,000 Pokemon.
Dude, that is the equivalent of the Luka PSA 10 being a $4,000 card. It peaked at $2,000.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so I want to give the second part of my answer.
Word I would use.
Well, it's something
unbelievable.
Yeah, the second part of my answer to this is that it also is unacceptable when things like this happen, especially the parts about funds being on hold. Like 3 weeks. I mean, the dollar just lost 1% of its value. So that's an exaggeration, but all I'm saying is that
not really.
Understanding that these companies are absolutely doing their best. None of these companies want to hear feedback like this. I am certain of it. But also understanding that that voicing this and voicing displeasure and contacting those companies and making noise about it and encouraging them, because they have to balance sort of the, how much should they expand their operation given that there may be a pullback coming soon,
yes,
there's a lot of considerations here.
That's what I was going to bring up, is that last time this happened, a lot of these companies overhired to keep up with the demand, and they 2-3x their staffs. And then when the market corrected, they, it was more painful that, on the way down, trying to figure out it's really difficult to lay people off. Obviously, it's not an easy solution. So they're probably thinking like, we don't want to go through that. Let's see what we can do. How much can we put up with customer complaints, etc. So there is that to take into account.
Yeah. And so, bearing that in mind, customers, collectors sort of have to make decisions on our own too about, while there is such a backlog of activity on major marketplaces that things are being held up weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, like, do we pivot to doing more direct deals? Do we go to more shows? Do we post our cards for sale more on social media? Like that, the companies are going to have to deal with that. They might lose some customers right now.
But if all these people are willing to have their cards in vaults, what's the difference? You just gotta wait a little longer. It would be in a vault anyways.
Yeah, but I can definitely relate. You're so right about that. But I can definitely relate to like 3 weeks.
Sure.
Like, dude, sometimes I sell cards because I need money in 48 hours to buy a different card.
It is. I saw Mark Sweat post about how he's willing to put up with a delay, given that it's so much better for him as far as security and safety, knowing that, he doesn't have to worry about returning cards and dealing with all that stuff as a buyer and a seller. So like, we've completely stopped talking about that topic because it's been solved. Like, this is not an issue with eBay anymore, because you're always covered in every case, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off. Which would you rather have,
Yeah. And I remember it was a really, really big problem 3 or 4 years ago when people were sort of using eBay's return window as a free roll to gamble on players' playoff performances. So to give an example, you could buy a card really high of Luka, and then if he does really well in the playoffs, then you're going to keep it. And if he flames out in the playoffs, you're going to return it within the 30-day return window. And that's been taken away. That's been solved.
We got like 6 customer tickets today about this Yankee pitcher that pitched last night.
Okay. Yeah.
We know, like, when people are really excited about a bunch of eBay sales, they want to make sure they get through, or they want to make sure that the cancellations are taken down of a very hyped player after one game. So I was getting some memories of that from 4 years ago.
Yeah, that helps our process too, that it's much more difficult to cancel transactions later and initiate refunds and stuff. It adds a little bit of credibility to the data set too.
Exactly.
And then, you know, the whole counterfeits and counterfeit slabs, counterfeit cards, or cards that are deliberately misleading in their condition, like that's been solved too by the intermediary of the authenticator, which is a pretty nice perk too.
Look at us being reasonable. Freaking annoying, isn't it?
Enjoy it while it lasts, folks.
We need to go hard next
Must
week.
be a
And just
full
go.
moon tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't shaved in a while or something? And we got some like rally beards about this going on.
I'm still on No Shave August, and the calendar turned over a few times since then. So,
well, you're gonna need that to stay warm here pretty soon. It sounds like.
Yeah. What if like next week we just brought back the old school crossover? We went 4 hours. We talked about pizza in the office for 3 of them. We actually lined up every office character with a hobby personality.
Freaking start talking about Frasier.
Okay, now you're just teasing me. All
We're
right.
just gonna fire up Frasier
Let me see if we can get through a few more here. 515 Sports Car says, what makes an insert set desirable in the long term? In the ultra modern, for example, kabooms and downtowns flood the feeds, while at the end of the day, they don't seem that rare. Conversely, inserts that are rare and not seen as often don't seem to get the same hobby love. Are inserts for ultra modern not desirable except for the ones deemed by content creators? Or do you think there will be an opportunity for appreciation in the future? Is it possible for an insert set to be too rare?
Cards that are good candidates for repacks are desirable long term.
Yeah.
Is my snarky answer.
Yeah. It's a good. So like, look, we were just talking about like that question that came from Gelman, and look, man, if you found an area like inserts, like inserts that are very rare that aren't part of this market peak, savor that. Enjoy.
Have you been seeing these 2024 downtown gold vinyls? Have you been following this?
Oh yeah, I've been following them closely. Well,
What?
not closely, but the LeBron and the Jokic were 2 big sales that I was watching with great interest.
Dude, the Wembanyama is up for auction. It's like already at 80 grand, and the Anthony Edwards is already at like 50 grand. The Tatum sold for 25 grand.
It's incredible.
What the heck, dude? And there's like not even that much gold vinyl on it. It's just like the bottom part.
Yeah, I think the idea around it is that this is the only downtown one of ones for these basketball players. So that's what people are basing this off of.
Yeah, which is not terrible.
No. Nope.
But when I saw that LeBron sell for 400, I was like, I don't know anything about sports cards anymore.
Right. From Seek Heat, he says a concept that you might appreciate is one from Virgil Abloh, who I looked up for this question, and he actually comes from my hometown of Rockford, Illinois, which was interesting. He talks about the tourist versus the purist. In his realm of art and design, the idea is that great art will resonate with both a tourist and a purist, with the tourist being somebody who's a casual enthusiast of art and a purist being a more refined viewer. I think it's a dichotomy that applies to card collecting as well. And let's focus on that idea. Let's focus on that idea here. Do you think that a card should be appealing to not only a seasoned collector, but also a casual non-collector, that they should find a card appealing as well for that card to be desirable for you?
I usually think about it like the cards that the purists find desirable are usually fairly easy for the casual people to understand quickly. And then the ones that are less so, it takes a little bit more explaining for the casual people. That's how I think about it. I'm not sure how I would think about it the other way though.
Yes, Christina.
Cards are meeting where I am. Aesthetically speaking, good looking, well designed cards that speak to the collector will have imagery that would speak to anyone, even a non-sports fan. So I would say that in that case, yes, the tourist would, like, eye appeal wise, like design aesthetics, would be enamored with the card that the collector puts at the top of their list.
Right. Great points made so far. I do agree with them. I think in the context of making generally likable cards that will be generally appealing, that it is good to think about everybody liking it, even non-collectors being able to like it and enjoy it. But I have a counterexample that blows up this whole thing, which is if I were to put the T206 Hannes Wagner on a table in front of you, and then right next to it, I put a Luka Prism Silver, and you ask somebody which of these two is the more beautiful. If you ask the tourist, which of these do you like better? The tourist is going to say, well, I've heard of Luka Dončić, and this is a shiny card, and it's made on a nicer stock, and it has a more beautiful design. You can debate that, but if you don't think the Luka Prism Silver has a nicer design, pick one of the thousands of other cards. Maybe one from the 90s, maybe one from the 2000s, maybe one from the 2010s, maybe one from the 2020s. Pick any of them. Pick one in your mind that has a nicer design, a nice-looking design that sells for a couple $100. You can substitute in instead if you don't like the Luka Prism Silver. But the point is, let's just go with the Luka Prism Silver for this example. Somebody would say, a tourist would say, I like the Luka Prism Silver better. I know the player. I have no idea who this Wagner guy is. The card's shiny. It's on nicer stock. It's got a more beautiful design, more modern design. I like this one better. And in that instance, the tourist will have completely missed the point, which is the Hannes Wagner. It is a multi-million-dollar, very valuable card, a card of almost of infinite more value and importance than the Luka Prism Silver, because of things that the tourist can't see when they look at the card, that things that aren't inherent in the design or the artistry, or even in the athlete depicted on the card, the story, the legacy, the rarity, the significance, and so forth, the collector base of each. So, in a general sense, I like this point and I agree with this point, but at the upper echelons of collecting, at the finer points of collecting, this will steer you completely wrong. That's
the same. I think that the same rules that you are laying out apply in the art world or any other collecting sphere as well, though. Like someone comes along and they see like a freaking Jackson Pollock and they're like, oh, I know this guy, like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's like it's a bullshit piece of art. You compare it to a John Singer Sargent and you're gonna want like to cry because of the paint strokes and the colors that he uses comparatively, like just in general. So like people walking in off the street at a museum looking at those two pictures will be like, oh, I've heard of this guy. I've seen these squares. I've seen these colors. Like, this is obviously worth more. And then you have another painting that just like speaks to like the artists more. Like, so I just think that you're 100% right. And that idea is not just cards.
Yeah, I think the hobby gives way, 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 way too much credence to the opinion of the tourist, and it doesn't give nearly enough credence to the opinion of the collector.
The world does, not just the collector.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, we are over an hour, and we're pretty close to the end here. There's one more question I wanted to deal with really quickly, which Perimeter Collectibles always like kind of gets. He always has such creative, sharp questions. And I like this one too, because he sort of says, if you know for certain that a person is actively involved in criminal activity, should you refrain from dealing with them, or is all fair and love and cards? And there was a noteworthy figure in a different collectibles space who was arrested on live stream today. And there have been criminals who have passed through the hobby landscape. And this is a thoughtful question because there are lots of consequences that can come from dealing with people who are criminals. Not I mean, if they are hobby criminals, meaning they're committing crimes within the hobby, that they need to go immediately. But if you have knowledge of them being criminals in other realms, and then they're not doing anything wrong necessarily in the hobby, that isn't a free pass either, because if they are using illicit funds, or if they are using illicit proceeds to do transacting in the hobby, you can be at risk still in that scenario, either because the authorities will end up retrieving those funds, clawing back those funds, or things purchased with those funds, or if deals have to be undone. It's just it's a huge risk dealing with people. If you know that somebody is engaging in criminal activities, you could be exposing yourself to all sorts of problems, and then not to mention the reputational fallout and so forth. So, do any of you two want to add on to? Do you refrain with dealing with known criminals who are actively involved?
These are like, he might be referring to past criminals who've served time and have since paid their debt, and now they're free to participate in the market again, right?
Well, I think that's a different scenario. I don't think that people should be permanently condemned. But his question says literally, if you know for certain a person is actively involved in criminal activity. So I also think that this question is probably asked rhetorically, but nonetheless, it came up and it deserves an emphatic answer that you are exposing yourself to a number of risks dealing with somebody that you know is engaged in criminal activity.
Well, I just want to say, like define criminal activity, because like I speed and that's illegal.
Good point. The nature of the criminal activity matters, and Christina is a giant criminal.
Yeah, that's the lamest way to be a criminal ever, though. Speeding. Let me speed. Come on. There's people shooting fentanyl on the streets, and I'm not allowed to speed.
Dude, I saw Christina committing multiple crimes just earlier today. She jaywalked right across the street.
Dude, that coffee's not gonna go get itself, bro. You gotta get there quick.
Seriously.
Yeah. All right.
I gotta walk to the coffee shop, and the quickest way is to cut through where there's not a crosswalk.
He thinks those teas just like magically appear on his desk.
No, he literally said that today because I brought back 3 teas for him.
Yeah, look
and
at him.
like he was like, oh, I have.
You don't want to see me when I'm on 2 cups of tea.
I do.
Josh does actually. Yeah, I had 5 cups of tea at my disposal today. I've put back 3 of them, but I still have 2. And these are, by the way, just so we don't think I'm a lightweight, these are double bagged. These are 2 green tea bags in each. So we're talking caffeine content that the average person isn't ready for.
I'll send you some studies on drinking caffeine too close to bedtime. You might want to chill out on that.
The one thing I will say though is that it depends on the person. I can down like 5 shots of espresso and go to sleep and have the best sleep of my life. Like, so it depends on the type of caffeine and on the actual person.
Getting quality sleep is very important. So I wouldn't mess with quality sleep.
The answer is Dwight Schrute. Someone in the chat said, who's the best Office character?
Yeah, it's definitely Dwight.
But I also don't plan on going to sleep for 72 hours, so we're just getting started here, folks.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's pick a title for this show.
Okay. Yes.
I've got cups of green tea to get to.
The transfer is official. I have no idea what that means.
The license, the NBA license.
A license.
Oh, right.
You
always go. I'm sorry. Would you like to repeat that?
Go on.
Oh, okay. Always go for the jumbo.
Yes.
Oh, which Cage said in the chat is a guaranteed auto in the jumbo.
I think he said the jumbo has a guaranteed auto and mem, and the hobby box has only one. You only get one or the other.
Oh, okay. So many inserts. I've lusted after a gem master. Selling 1 of 1s right now is crazy. The 1 of 1 era. A bubble never seen before. Opinion of the tourist. Define criminal activity.
All right. Does anybody feel strongly about any of these?
No, not really.
I have 2.
Oh,
yes, please.
Listen carefully. Always go for the jumbo and opinion of the tourist.
Yeah. Yep. I like both.
I'm leaning towards the jumbo.
Why? Why are you leaning towards? You got amused by that immediately.
It's just like it just rolls off the tongue. It's just so good. I don't
know.
It does. Sometimes they're just, that's what the point of this is like, they don't really make sense. You just look at it and you go, I like that.
Yeah, it's like naming a song, it's just like, it doesn't need to have anything deep. Or
naming a band. Yeah.
It just sounds good. It has a ring to it.
Yep. This is a creative space we live in now.
I'm fine with always go for the jumbo. Christina, do you have any objections? Well, guess what? Doesn't even matter because 2 out of 3.
since I'm the one who said it in the first place, hells to the no. Let's go. We have our title.
Nice.
Oh wait,
All right.
hold on a
Yeah,
second.
jokes on both of you.
Damn it.
We can have a second round of voting.
No, it's fine. Let's give her one.
There will
right.
not be a recount.
The best part about giving one to Christina is that now we don't have to for like a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Minimum. In fact, I think our rule actually should follow that we cannot use any of hers for a year minimum. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning into the crossover. See you guys on the next show. Assuming
Maybe.
there is one.